Okay, welcome once again. This is the brother Lamadio coming to you in the spirit of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah by Hashem Rakak Wadash. And in this video, we're going to talk about being surface listeners. Now, what does that mean, being a surface listener? Now, surface listening is the act of listening to the outer face of the message or topic, but not the inner and deeper spiritual message of it. So in other words, that's a person that's carnal, because you could talk to a person and the message will go right over their head because they're looking at it through a carnal lens. And that become a problem because if you woke up to the truth, you gotta look at this truth as being a gift. And you have to be humble. And another thing is, a lot of time you see brothers go through certain circumstances over and over, and they still won't see what's the message behind it. Because the Most High communicates through different formats. Sometimes the Most High put us through hell to convey a message for us to learn. Sometimes the Most High humiliate us. Sometimes the Most High take everything away from us that we care about. Sometimes we struggle, and etc. But there's a message behind it, and you have to look at it through the spirit, rather focusing on the carnal aspect of it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the scriptures. We're gonna look at different examples of surface listening. Now, the first scripture I want to start off with is in the Apocrypha. And this is the book of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 22 and 8. He that telleth a tale to a fool speaketh to one in a slumber. So a person that is a fool is likened or reference to a person that's in a slumber. And if you come into the truth, the last thing you want to carry yourself is as a person that's foolish or a person that's in a slumber, because the main thing you want to do when you come to the truth is practice active listening and looking at things through the spirit. Because once you transition from the world into this truth, you got to look at things through the lens of the spirit now. Now, you have times brothers may pull you to the side and talk to you, but you have to look at it what the spirit is trying to convey to you, because the Most High uses men to convey messages. Or sometimes the Most High just put unfortunate events in your life and put you through hell to convey a message. But still, you have to see what is the message that the Most High is conveying to you. So it said, he that telleth a tale to a fool speaketh to one in a slumber. When he hath told his tale, he will say, what is the matter? Other words, what is the point of all of this? Because no matter what you say to that man, things will always go right over his head, because he's looking at it through the lens of the flesh. So that's not something we want to be a part of. Looking at things through a fleshly lens. Now let's go through accounts of or examples of surface listening. So I want to start off with John chapter 6, verse 47. Verily I say unto you, he that believeth on me have everlasting life. And who's speaking here? This is Yahweh Shah speaking. And Yahushua said in verse 48, I am the bread of life. Your fathers did eat manna in the wilderness and are dead. This is the bread which cometh down from heaven, that a man eateth, that a man may eat thereof and not die. I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread that I will give is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world. The Jews therefore strove among themselves, saying, how can this man give us his flesh to eat? So they was looking at it on the surface level, but not understanding that Yahushua was the word. So when he spoke of this flesh to eat and this blood to drink of, he was talking about the word. But they looked at it based off the flesh or on a carnal level, because they looked at it pretty much. Yahushua was talking about cannibalism, but he was talking about the word. So consuming Yahushua's flesh is consuming this word, because he is the word. Now, verse 53, then Yahushua said unto them, Really, really, I say unto you, except ye eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, ye have no life in you. And he was talking about the word. Whoso eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood have eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day. For my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. He that eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood dwelleth in me, and I in him. As the living Father has sent me, and I live by the Father, so he that eateth me, even he shall live by me. This is that bread which came down from heaven, not as your father did eat manna and are dead. He that eateth of this bread shall live forever. And he's talking about the word, because that's what he's talking about, this word. Because the manna or the bread that they ate in ancient time, they ate that bread, and what happened? You know, they got, a lot of them died of old age. But the word is what gonna keep you alive for eternity. So that's what Yahushua was talking about. So he was telling them, in other words, that forget about the physical bread. You gotta focus on the spiritual bread, which is this word. Because the word is likened unto wine, milk, meat, honey, as a meal. And Yahushua was that meal. And he referenced as a person listening to him, as a person eating of a meal. That's why he said, eat of my flesh and drink of my blood. So now, going down to verse 59, it says, these things said he in the synagogues as he taught in Capernaum. Many therefore of his disciples, when they had heard this, said, this is an hard saying. Who can hear it? When Yahushua knew in himself that his disciples murmured at it, he said unto them, do this offend you? So Yahushua, he read their thoughts, and he knew it offended them, because these disciples, they wasn't of their elect, because it wasn't just 12 disciples. There was a company of disciples. It's just that the 12 was the top disciples, but there was a company of disciples. So now, verse 62, what? So like, it says, what and if ye shall see the Son of Man ascend up where he was before, it is the spirit that quickeneth, and the flesh profited nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. So that's what happened. You know, we read on. Let me see. Did I skip it? Okay, no, I didn't get to it yet. So Yahushua said, "Is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profited nothing." So the spirit is talking about this word, and quickeneth means to make alive. He says, "The flesh profited nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are what? Are spirit and they are life." So Yahushua was talking about the word the whole time. But there are some of you that believe not. But Yahushua knew from the beginning who they were that believed not and who shall betray him. So Yahushua already knew who wasn't of the elect. And he said, "Therefore said I unto you, that no man can come unto me except it was given unto him of the Father." And this whole thing is of the election. If you're not of the elect, it's not going to register in your mind. So that's another reason why Yahushua spoke in parables, because it was to filter out the one that was not of the elect. Because the one that was of the elect, it was going to understand through the Spirit. Now, let's end it on here. But that time, many of his disciples went back and walked no more with him. So a lot of them disciples, they was offended, and they didn't follow him after he said that. You know, the scripture doesn't give you their names, of course, because they was irrelevant. They only give you the 12, which it was the most important one, because they was the top. It was a top 12. Then say Yahushua unto the 12, "Will ye also go away?" Then Simon Peter answered him, "Lord, to whom shall we go? Thou hast the words of eternal life." So this Simon Peter, the Spirit jumped to him, and he was able to excel the surface of the message and understand what Yahushua meant in the Spirit. And he says, "And we believe and are sure that thou art the anointed, the Son of the living power." So Peter was able to look outside the surface and get a deeper spiritual understanding. So let's go to John, the 3rd chapter, with Nicodemus. Now there was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. The same came to Yahushua by night and said unto him, "Rabbi, we know that thou art a teacher come from the Most High, for no man can do these miracles that thou doest except the Most High be with him." Yahushua answered and said unto him, "Verily, verily, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of the Most High." Nicodemus said unto him, unto Yahushua, "How can a man be born when he is old?" So Nicodemus, he was listening through the surface. There's another example of being a surface listener. So he asked this, can he enter the second time into his mother's womb and be born? So he was looking at it as literal, but not spiritual. Now, verse 5, Yahushua answered, "Verily I say unto thee, except a man be born of water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of the Most High." So Yahushua was talking about being born again through the word, because when you go to Proverbs, it references the law or the word as being our mother. So you got to be born again through the womb of or the matrix of the scriptures. Now, verse 6, that which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of the Spirit is what? Is spirit. So he said this, marvel not that I said unto thee, you must be born again. So Nicodemus, he wasn't looking at, well, he wasn't listening to a spiritual perspective. He was looking at through the flesh. And that's what we're not supposed to be. surface listeners, listening things on the surface, but listening through the spirit. Now, let's go to another examples. Now let's go to John 4:31. In the meanwhile, his disciples prayed him, saying, Master, eat. But he said unto them, I have meat to eat that you know not of. This is Yahushua speaking. He told his disciples, listen, I have meat that you know not of. And it says, therefore said the disciples one to another, have any man brought him out to eat? Yahushua said unto them, my meat is to do the will of him that sent me and to finish his work. And they thought he was talking about literal food, but Yahushua was talking in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? So these are all examples of being surface listeners. And we're close to the end. And you want to be more in tune with the spirit. You know, there's going to be times brother's going to talk to you. You have to see why the spirit have the message being conveyed to you. So now what I want to do is let's look at this word carnal. Because if you're not being spiritual, what are you being? You're being carnal. Because the scriptures do say a carnal mind is what? Enmity with the Most High. And let's look at this word carnal. Now the word carnal is derived from the Latin carnalis, from the word carnes, which means what? Flesh or meat. Like in Spanish, you call it meat carne. So a person that is carnal is what? Is of the flesh. So I mean, they view everything off the flesh rather through the spirit. So that's a carnal person. That's a person that said, oh, if God is real, I need to see him. I need proof that God exists. Because that's a carnal person. So because you can't prove to a person that the Most High exists. That's a thing of faith. Now, I'm going to give you an example of carnality. This is an account with Thomas. Now, let's see, where shall I start? All right, John 20:24. But Thomas, one of the 12, called Didymus, was not with them when Yahushua came. So when you read this account, this is when Yahushua, this is post-resurrection of Yahushua. So Yahushua was resurrected and he showed himself to be alive. So now I read again. But Thomas, one of the 12, called Didymus, was not with them when Yahushua came. The other disciples therefore said unto him, we have seen the Lord. But he said unto them, he is talking about Thomas, except I shall see in his hand the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of the nails, and thrust my hand into his side, I will not believe. And for him to actually put his finger in the hole of Yahushua to him to believe, that means he had to be carnal. Because it took for him to actually touch the wounds of Yahushua for him to believe. So that's a fleshly thing. That's a fleshly thing. Now, and after 8 days, again his disciples were within, and Thomas with them. Then came Yahushua, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst and said, peace be unto you. Then said he to Thomas, reach hither thy finger, and behold my hands, and reach hither thy hand, and thrust it into my side, and be not faithless, but believing. The Yahushua was pretty much telling him, like, you being faithless right now. And Thomas, he had to actually see with his eyes, which your eyes is comprised of what? Your flesh. And touch with his fingers, which is your hands, is comprised of what? Your flesh. which is what? Carnal. For him not to be faithless. But Yahushua said, let's read it again. Reach hither thy finger, behold my hands, and reach hither thy hand, and thrust it into my side, and be not faithless, but what? Believing. And Thomas answered and said unto him, my Lord and my power. Yahushua said unto him, Thomas, because thou hast seen me, thou hast believed. Blessed are they that have not seen and yet have believed. And that's the time we're living in. We're living in a time we haven't seen Yahushua, and we haven't seen the power, but we believe. Okay? And we don't want to be accounted as being carnal. We want to be accounted as being spiritual. So I'm going to close. In conclusion, I just want to say, Lord willing, this video was edifying. And, you know, we're close to the end. And you have to be more active in the spirit and start looking at everything through a spiritual lens. Things that happen in your life, things that are being said to you, and look at it what the Spirit is saying. And humble, and we all have to humble down. But, you know, Lord willing, this video was edifying. And until next time, Shalom.